Hello and welcome back to the Real Music Talks. Today's guest is Tom Ramsbottom. He's an abstract artist and a singer-songwriter from Bristol. How you doing, Tom?
I'm very well, you.
Yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad. Most of the listeners probably won't have heard of you before. How would you sort of describe yourself and your involvement in music?
Yeah, I describe myself as a creative person. I, I've been writing songs now for quite a bit of time. I wouldn't be able to hazard a guess exactly when I started writing music, probably like in my teens. I've been out and about doing music, but even though it sounds a bit crazy, but I'm 36 now, and having moved to Bristol like literally 4 weeks ago. This is the first time I've ever tried to properly do something with my music, and really like think, well, how do I get my music out there and what to do properly about it? Because as many people who do music and have been successful, it's not just like an overnight thing. It's very collaborative and it takes a long time to sort of get somewhere. So hopefully Bristol will be a good starting point for this.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I can speak from my own experiences. There's this great music scene in Bristol. Everyone's really
Mm.
sort of encouraging. There's a great community feel. So do you sort of just make music on your own? Like, how have you collaborated with other musicians so far?
Well, it's been quite interesting because I've been very in a very sort of probably in a very fearful way. Probably I've tried to just do as much of it on my own as possible. Like I've got into a sort of comfort zone of trying to write as many songs as I can and try and get better and better. And I think I've always felt very insecure about myself as a musician because I never mastered the guitar to an unbelievable level. I mean, I play piano, but that's about like I play it to the point if I can hear it and I can sort of work it out, kind of thing. And with songwriting, I've tried to get better and better and more confident with that. And I did have a writing partner at one point that I met when I was back in south of Manchester, which is where I kind of came from ish. And he was a very talented musician, and he'd record some music for me and say, "Hey, can you put the lyrics and the melody to it?" kind of thing. And it was very testing for me because I'd never really done anything like that before. And although it terrified me, I we came out with some decent stuff. But the only thing was, there were certain points where I was just like, "Oh, I like this better than this," and he didn't agree. And I like this better than this, and he didn't agree. And I kind of was like, "Oh, what do you do now?" Because I don't, I don't want to get like have a hissy fit, and I don't want to be like whatever. But what if I don't like something and he does? So I mean, different circumstances made us so we couldn't work together anymore. But like my girlfriend said to me when we got here, she said, "I think you need to get a band because you hear more than just a guitar, which is great. You can't afford really to go into the studio. So what you're going to do, because you go into a studio, you pay money and you're just going to be sat there trying to work it out in the studio, and that costs money. So that's where I'm at the moment, trying to figure out the best next stage of what to do with my music."
Makes sense. So talk me through kind of like your musical history a little bit. How did you kind of first get into music, and what was your first sort of instrument that you learned, and how did you pick things up?
Yeah, in terms of music, music's always blown my mind. It's I didn't know how it could exist because you hear music, and whether it's the Beach Boys, whether it's Queen, or whoever it is that you listen to, there'll be sounds that make you go, "How the hell was that made?" and "What the hell is that going on?" Like it's just it's always blown my mind. And like even when you hear harmonies and stuff, it just like elevates something. So I've always been fascinated by music. It's always been like kind of it's always felt a bit unreachable for me because I've never seen myself as a star. I've never seen myself as somebody who's like, "Hey, look at me," kind of person. So music, even though it's not all about that, granted, but I've never seen myself being that thing. So it always felt very far away. And I got my mum, bless her, she got me into piano lessons, and I did not like it. I didn't realize what it was until I was older. And my sisters had piano lessons, and they learned how to read music. And I used to listen to one of my sisters play music, and she'd have like these printed off sheets of Beethoven. And don't ask me what the name of the song was, because I found it, but now I've forgotten it again. But it was so deep in my memory, like hearing this haunting sort of melody of this Beethoven. They don't do it anymore. But unfortunately for me, my mum always had a piano at the house, and my mum got me with this piano teacher who seemed about 80 when I first met her, but she was well younger than that. And no offense to her, I mean, she's passed away now, but she was like such a lovely woman, and she had so much patience for me, because I was young, I was naive, I didn't know what was going on, I didn't want to be there, kind of thing. And I practiced ever so often, but I didn't realize that I'd learned a bit. But when I got older, like I was watching all the R&B videos, and all these black rappers were like playing music with the piano and everything. I was just like, what are you doing, man? Why are you giving this up? Kind of thing. And so I got back on the piano, and I was still playing covers and messing around, and started writing my own stuff. But and then when I was 21, I heard an album by Jack Johnson called In Between Dreams. And I've got an eclectic taste. It goes from hip hop scratching to Frank Sinatra to everywhere. And I heard this. I was probably, I think I was pretty still hungover from the night before. And I heard this album, and I was like, to a guy I used to know, I was like, what's this? And he's like, oh, it's Jack Johnson. I was like, it's like silk. And I was just like, flipping heck. And I literally remember saying, I want to play the guitar, because I wanted to create these acoustic sounds, kind of thing. And I bought a guitar for my 21st, and one of the very few times I've actually put some major effort into anything. I literally had a chord sheet in front of me, and I obsessively learnt the guitar, not to like a kind of level, but learnt the chords and got to a comfortable level, and started learning covers, and then started writing my own stuff on the guitar. So it's been sort of that journey.
What's sort of your approach to writing then? Like, where do you draw influence from now? Is it kind of trying to replicate something similar to what you heard in Jack Johnson, or do you kind of take it down your own path at this point?
Yeah, I'm very much guilty of trying to replicate people way too much. I know for a fact that because I've never liked the sound of my own voice, I thought, well, I'll just copy Jack Johnson. But then I get influenced by a lot of things that I've heard. Again, mentally trying not to copy them, and like, because like it's so easy to become a karaoke version of something, and I go, no, that's not your voice, come on, kind of thing. And I have to bring myself back. But I know when it is me, and I know the moments where I'm just like very organic and very okay. That's Tom. I can, or whoever I am. I mean, kind of thing. That's me. And then because like I recently wrote a song within the last like few years, wrote a song that even though initially I had Morrissey in my head when I wrote it, and then all of a sudden it sounded kind of the way I ended up singing it in a studio once, it ended up sounding a bit like David Bowie. And I kept telling myself, stop doing the Bowie thing. And I had to step away from it. And but I mean, it's very easy to slip into different people, because there's so many amazing artists out there, like well known and not well known, that it's so easy to hear and just go and just get sucked into it. But I try not to. But I just I don't really know how it happens, because then it's not so often that I come out with something and I go on a journey of learning it and go on open mic. So I've got a lot of songs in the backlog that I've done that I'm sure will have tried to pinch it off somebody. And because that's the other thing as well, is like I really don't want to, because there's so much stuff at the moment where artists have been sued by other artists and things like that. So I've really tried to, if I play a song, if the worst thing that could happen is that I sound like somebody, then I can just go stop it. As long as the melody isn't a copy, and as long as the song doesn't, I go, no, you can't have that because that sounds exactly like that kind of thing. So I try my best to keep my voice as me.
What does your songwriting process look like? So do you normally start with chords, or do you kind of keep like a lyric book? How do those two things sort of interplay?
A lot of the time, for example, there was once when I was at the house on my own, and I remember being in. This is when I used to live with my parents, and it wasn't that crazy long time ago. But I remember being in the kitchen, and I must have been bored or something. Something just flicked in me, and I just started singing something. And I went, "Oh, what's that?" And I legged it to the piano and started playing something, and something was born. And I mean that's I can't explain how that happens. I mean sometimes it must happen with meditation if you sit down and meditate, and something must happen. But that happened that time. I mean, I know that once I started getting really seriously into songwriting, I'd be out and about, and I'd start singing something maybe about how I felt or anything, and then I may start just coming out with something. But the one thing I do is, um, like Dave Grohl said about your chorus should be like a bumper sticker on the car. It should be one phrase. It's just like boom kind of thing with an exclamation at the end of it. So I try and I mean, even though there's been some amazing songs out there that haven't been bumper stickers, sticker kind of songs. They've just been whatever kind of thing. So I do try and find out what I'm talking about. Why have I just started singing that? What's going on with me? What's the main sort of phrase of this whole thing that sums up why I've just started singing? Like, oh, I don't feel good today. Why not? Da da da. Oh, I feel amazing today. Why? And then try and come out with that exact phrase that could be like the hook for it. And I just do that. Sometimes I'll have a cup of tea and I'll sit down at the piano or the guitar and just start messing around. And I'll go, oh, that was a nice chord change. What's that? And something will happen. But like if I want to just try and write a song, it may be a massive squeeze on my brain, but I might just go, come on, something, and then just go, right, let's see what's happening. Because it is I do like to try and write a song a day. It doesn't always happen. I mean, I remember Lou hearing an interview with Lou Reed, and he said that Andy Warhol said to him, how many songs have you written today? He went, I don't know, 5 or 6. And he went, is that it? And I remember watching that go, oh my God. So yeah, it's a complicated one.
It's a good way of looking at it though, like trying to get like a certain amount of output into
Yeah.
it. So what do you do on the days that you can't write a song? Is it just a struggle sort of thing?
It's I mean, because I'm trying to make a living as well, like it's a case of if if I was working for a songwriting company, that would be different because then it'd be like, dude, you ain't either go for a walk or do something else that'll spark up your mind, but you can't like get to the end of the day without writing a song kind of thing. But like um it is kind of like most of the time because I've been in different sections of my life. Some days where I've just been all about the music and just been like record, and then get back home and go, oh, what's all that on my phone kind of thing. Like at the moment, I can't because I've just had I say I've had my partner had a baby like last year or so. So the idea of writing songs is is kind of like it happens when it happens. I mean, I can, like, I do write them, and they do come out every so often. But because I'm trying to figure out how to be a man and a father and get the money, and like, if a song comes out, then yay.
Makes sense. How do you sort of balance that as well, like being a father, and then I guess you have other employment as well, right? Like how do you sort of balance your time there?
That's basically just trying to stay as present as possible. Like, it wasn't until I met my partner. like a few years ago that my life was going nowhere, and I had all these lovely fantasies about what my life could be like, and this and that and the other. And it wasn't until I met her that she was just like, with a wet fish in my face, went, "Come on." So I was like, "Oh God, that's what I've been doing." So it's great because people may build up to something like this, but for me, it was a case of shotgun happened, and I was just like, "Oh!" It was like being plummeted into like a psychological cold water, and I kind of was just like, "Right, so this is what it's all about, then, is it?" And yeah, I'm. I think the best answer is I'm trying, and I'm hopefully doing my best to learn from my mistakes from yesterday. And yeah, it's difficult. Um, and my partner, even though she's only known me for a few years, is more patient than she could ever think that she is. She's like, she's amazing. So, and like when I look at my baby, like, it can sometimes be a bit like CGI. You kind of look at them and go, "How are you real?" kind of thing. And she inspires me. And I mean, I wrote a little song about her kind of thing. And yeah, I've because I've had to start from scratch really, because I wasn't really doing anything with my life before my partner. So I've had to understand what it means to get anything in terms of a job. And then once you got that job, then look for other things and try and organize your life kind of thing. Because if I wasn't in a job that I liked, I found myself getting very depressed by it, and it sort of made me go that way instead of going that way. So I found another warehouse job, which I'm a little bit happier with. So at the moment, I'm just trying to find another job with nicer hours that isn't ages away, and then at the same time trying to get my music out there and trying to figure out what to do with my art. So it's yeah, it's a very strange one.
Talk to me a little bit about your art. So what exactly do you do, and what's your approach, and what are you trying to achieve from it?
I started my art. Well, I've done a bit in the past, like at school and stuff, and I have messed around other times, but this actually meant something quite important to me in terms of my sanity and my sort of how to cope with certain situations, because I was going through a bit of a time, a bit of a family time, and I thought to myself, what am I going to do? And a friend of mine who I was sort of performing at his open mics, and we ended up having a bit of a journey together with music. And he said, "Have you ever tried painting?" And I was just like, I'm not really interested in trying to make an apple look like an apple. I've not really got the headspace." He went, "No," he said, "Get some paint, get a canvas, get some brushes, and just go crazy with it." He said, "Rather than being up at 10 or 11 at night freaking out about stuff," he said, "get a paintbrush and just paint, because you'll just let it all out." So I was just like, "Oh, okay, I'll give it a try." So I did it. And I remember being at my grandma's house, and it got to 11 o'clock, and I was like, my head was spinning. And I got the canvas out and got the paintbrush out, but all of a sudden, because our egos are like this, my ego went, "This has got to be like a Monet. It's got to be like a Picasso." And I was just like, "Oh, I can't do a Picasso." And so I decided to go for a walk around the block. And then I came back in and got some paints together and just went, just do something. So I just stuck the paint in and just went crazy. And it was quite funny because I was chaos, but then my creative side went, "Oh, no, 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 it can't be chaotic. You've got to do a design here." So I was just like, oh, okay. So I kind of made this chaos turn into something that was like something. And it was very interesting. And that was the first bit of art I did. And it was very much a case of, I wasn't doing a sunset and I wasn't painting a tree. I just literally just went rah kind of thing. And then I kept doing it and just kept doing paintings and paintings. And I didn't really think about, is it finished yet? I just stopped and then did another one and then just stopped. And then I carried on. And then it wasn't until I went to some open mics and a couple of people said, "Oh, I like that." And then somebody messaged me after, said, can I get that?" And I was just like, "Well, I'm selling things now." And so it was really bizarre. And then I ended up selling some prints, and then a friend of mine, another friend from another open mic, had painted this not a massive painting, but it was fairly big, and I was really impressed by it. It was like a really nice painting. It was very abstract, and it ended up looking a bit like a city skyline kind of thing. And I had this really awkward moment where she said, "Look, I want to buy it. How much are you selling it for?" And I was in the car park of this pub, and I had the painting with me, and she went, "I can't give you the money now, but I will bring it in." And I said, I went, "Oh, £200," and then she gave me it, and I was just like, "Ah." And then afterwards, I met this guy randomly when I'd bought some more equipment, and he'd stopped me and said, "Oh, you paint?" I was just like, "Yeah." And he went, "How much do you sell your paintings for?" And I was just like, "Well, this particular one I sold for £200." You went, "Make sure you get what you deserve." And I was like, "Okay." And then he went off, and I really thought about it, because I was just like, obviously people like charge thousands for paintings and like lots of money. So it's another sort of fear barrier I've had to go through, of like how to stand there and go, "That's worth £1,000." So it's quite an interesting one, but that's how I started anyway.
Makes perfect sense. So do you think that kind of mindset like flows into how you write songs, just in terms of like there being no boundary and it just being sort of an open expression, really?
Yeah. If I don't try too hard, because sometimes I can try too hard, but if I'm literally, I mean, you are absolutely right with that, because I can literally sit down and I mean, I've come up with really playful music, like, considering I'm having a really, really hard time, and maybe my mind's saying to me, "Don't come up with something depressing, like cheer yourself up with this song or something." And I found myself just like going, "Well, the only way is up from here," and I've come out with something really chilled out and like jolly, and I've come away going, "How the hell did that come out from like the way I'm feeling?" So it's and then obviously there's other times when I've been feeling horrible, and I've just come out with something that's sort of very melancholy. So yeah, it is interesting, because I love the unconsciousness, how it can speak, because like my partner quite rightly said to me that if you wanted to get into art galleries, they kind of want series, and that was very difficult for me to be really like regimented and do a series kind of thing, and because I'm used to being chaotic and something coming out of it, that you can see things in the painting. So yeah.
Sorry, mate, I'm getting rained on a bit, so I'm moving
Oh
it in a little
no,
bit. No, it's all good.
you're going to be protected by that little leaf. That leaf.
I don't think it's going to do much, to be honest, but I'll give it a go, mate. I'll give it a go. I've got a little shower here. Just don't want the laptop to get too
Oh
wet.
yeah,
How have you found it so far? Like, obviously, you've just moved to Bristol. Have you been to a load of open mic nights and stuff in Bristol?
I've been to the same one twice, and it's clear that there's a thriving scene here, which is amazing. And I was trying to go to an open mic that I knew. So, I mean, it's very much a community thing, and I love that. Um, and I don't just want to be I don't just want to be all about being successful and all that kind of stuff. I do want to go out there and meet people, but at the same time, I feel like I've got to 36, and I'm kind of like looking at my watch, going like, "Come on, man, you've wasted a lot of time." So I am a little bit like that at the moment. But I went to an open mic a couple of weeks ago, called the Cloak and Dagger, um, and I went down well, and then I went down the next week, and went down well, and then they offered me a gig, and I was like super grateful for that. So I just want to try and get myself out there in that respect, and I want to try and do one a week, because obviously, if I was like single and sort of without any commitments, I'd be probably out there like most nights, which is what I was doing in my early 20s. But the only trouble was I didn't have any direction when I was in my 20s, but now I can sort of get out there and with the time I have, do something that's actually going to benefit me and my family, and sort of try and do something. So like I say, I've got the gig on the 12th of November at the Cloak and Dagger, and I'm supporting someone, which is really nice. But I'm also trying to find elsewhere that's got some kind of gravitas to it as an open mic, and see if I can drum up some more sort of attention.
Makes sense. So from here, like, what's kind of your plan then? From like here, where would you see yourself in like 5 year, 10 year time? In an ideal world, of course.
Well, I'd love to have my music out there. I'd love to be making money from my music. I'd love to change our lives as my family, and see if I can get somewhere. I'd love it. I mean, like I said, same with my art. I'd love to be able to make a living from my art and do that. I mean, I had some kind of a plan to maybe get a song recorded somehow with funding or something, and like see where it goes, and then sort of try and tell people, look, I need some people behind me. This is what I want it to sound like. Can you make it sound like this? Because I can't afford to get into a studio right now, and it's I don't want to waste my time when I'm in there. I've got a demo that I got in the studio that's as close as damn it as something that I've ever heard before of something that I'd like. So yeah, it'd be a dream to have a song that I could either give to like Bristol introducing or BBC introducing, something that I can just go, that's it, that's an example of one of my songs, kind of thing. So yeah.
Cool. No, all sounds good. We're nearly out of time now.
Yeah.
But it's been really great chatting. So this is kind of like an open book now. Is there anything else you'd like to leave the audience with as we sort of close out today?
I've got a gig on the 12th of November at the Cloak and Diagram supporting. So it'd be nice to have people down there. I paint abstract painting, so if you do want to get in touch with me, it's kind of weird to try and get in touch with me at the moment because my name on Facebook is I think it's Tom Retro Ramsbottom, which was a crazy sort of move. I decided it'll probably change. But yeah, I'm trying to get my business out there with that, and get painting if you're having a bit of a rough time, get playing music if you're having a rough time, and get socializing.
Perfect. No, that's a great message to end on. Appreciate it, Tom. Thanks for your time.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, good to connect. Take care, everyone. See you next time.